So when we first moved here to Shanghai about 6.5 years ago or so, um, my son who plays ice hockey, most of the team here was built around foreign players. Like a lot of there were many foreign players from Europe and Canada and the US that were quite good players. They're very good. So the foreign team was always the top team, not only in China, but also really good within this region. But over the years, you could see the team companies moved top executives out and were replaced by locals who, where the education and the training level was rising. There wasn't as much need to make the investment as there was in these kinds of international schools and bringing people, you know. So I think that you see a rise in this, and at the same time you saw a rise in the upper and middle class of Chinese citizens. So you're seeing them look for alternatives to public education and look for ways that their children can, get a better education, basically. So I think that more and more of these companies realized that the money wasn't really in schools that were for foreign students. They were more for well, you have these big famous foreign international schools, but really more it's now trending towards the majority of the schools in China are going to follow this model that also follows the Chinese national curriculum from 1st to 9th grade. And that's the major difference, is the education model but between 1st and 9th grade, you have to follow the Chinese national curriculum. And then you can take the international path or the Gaokao path. And I think that, as you mentioned, you see quite a few, most all of the new schools that are opening are of this same model. And you see the joint venture model where to get some kind of advantage in the marketplace, you bring in a premium name, especially a school that has a lot of reputation within the international market or within in the home country, and then the parents can will feel much more comfortable about sending their child to that school as opposed to the school that doesn't have this kind of branding associated with it. That question is, that trend was going on for many years, where you saw this switch from real, like, most of the major international schools within China were these schools that were mostly for foreign students, and you had some smaller bilingual programs. But over the years, you've seen these large, especially real estate companies, invest with these joint ventures to set up these schools that are for all Chinese students, as opposed to just the ones with passports.